Hello, friend. Henry Flowers here. I want to respond to this post that many of you have heard about the pastor from North Carolina tweeting a comment at I think it was at a marriage council meeting or something like that about marriage or something. Call himself trying to help marriage. Well, the fact is, he did exactly the opposite, is doing the devil's work to destroy marriage. And this is something that I absolutely despise. Listen to this pastor's comments from North Carolina, and I won't even call his name. It says, World Overcomers Outreach Church in Durham. He says, he recently instructed married women to, quote unquote, shine it up so their husbands will remain faithful instead of letting the hoes that he comes across catch his eye. This is just absolutely laughable. And just two things shock me. Number one, the first thing that shocks me is that a pastor would feel that it's his business to say something that would cause a wife to feel more responsible for keeping her husband's attention. Excuse me, I beg your pardon. It is a husband's responsibility to keep his attention on his wife. And yes, Pastor, it is not your responsibility to propagate these lies. Man, this is from the devil. Man, let me tell you something. People have enough problems in their own lives without pastors doing something other than preach the gospel. Your job is to preach the gospel, Mr. Pastor, not this foolishness. This ain't the gospel. Yeah, well, the bedrooms are in the Bible. Yeah, but you are not the Bible. I know there's some talk about what happens in people's bedrooms in the Bible, but you are not the Bible. Your business is not to be in people's bedrooms. Man, people have enough problems on their own without this kind of foolishness coming from the pulpit. Hey, listen, if a man cheats on his wife, that's a problem with him. I mean, heck, it can't be about a woman's curves. Man, let me tell you something. I love my wife the way I loved her when I first met her. I don't care how many curves she has or how many extra lumps or whatever. If I cheat on my wife, it's about something that's wrong in me. She don't have to do anything to keep my attention. She has all of my attention. She got it from day one when I put a ring on it because I like it. So I put a ring on it. That's the devil's work when you're doing that. And you sisters need to stop believing that lie. You stop believing that lie. If a man cheats on you, he don't understand your value and you need to let him bounce. You don't need to do nothing to try to keep him. Yeah, I know there's some hoes out there. There's some ladies that will sleep with your husband. But if they steal your husband, then you never really had him in the first place. Booyah. You ain't have him in the first place. Shame on this pastor for teaching this foolishness. Preach the gospel and help people be delivered. Talk to the men, the lazy men who will allow themselves to be drawn away by a whorish woman. The Bible talks about a whorish woman, but why don't you, instead of taking time running on his foolishness, why don't you do the hard thing and look the men in the eye like I look them in the eye and say, you need to man up and do the right thing and be faithful and honor your wife. That's what you should be doing. Now, here's the second thing that really fires me up about this is that the onslaught and the backlash that the women have been throwing at this pastor because he called women hoes. And they're mad about because he used the term hoes from the pulpit and this kind of thing. And they're mad because they think the word hoes is setting back the female agenda. Ladies, listen, don't let yourselves be deceived or distracted. Sure, you can be upset about that derogatory term and the whole idea that comes behind it, behind a pastor using that term. Okay, but listen, the bigger argument is in this quote right here. Listen to this. He says, here the pastor says to defend his words, he says, some may feel like there's never any context where it's okay for a pastor to call women hoes. You'll have to forgive me, he said, brushing off the controversy. And he says again here, our goal and our aim is to help women. Okay, well, listen, I understand the term was derogatory, but the fact is what you ladies should understand is that what's hurting you is not him using the derogatory term for women, because a woman who takes a man from his wife is a hoe. She's a whorish woman. It's in the Bible. But that's not what you should be most upset about. What you should be most upset about is this pastor propagating the thing that has destroyed the black family for years. Lazy men. Not all men are lazy, but a man who would look upon another woman knowing that he has a wife, that's a lazy man. And this pastor, by saying this and suggesting that the blame should be on somebody else other than him, the cheating husband, he is helping this lie go forward. And he is allowing men to continue to be lazy. That's what you should be upset about. Lazy men. How many times has a lazy man caused things to happen like what happened to me, caused another young black male or a young black female to be raised without their dad in no man land, which is going to be the title of my next book. How many times a lazy man hadn't worked the way he's supposed to work to provide for the family, hadn't worked on his own mind to keep his own mind clean from impure thoughts and looking at a strange woman in that kind of way. That takes work, and it's the work that I've done for 19 years, bruh. So females, ladies, listen to me. This is about you. You need to take a stand and get upset about the right thing, not the wrong thing. Forget about a derogatory term about women. Look at what it's doing to the family. This idea is helping support what is already a huge problem. Men who are not willing to do what needs to be done. Men who are not willing to do the hard thing. There's a lot of good men out there. I'm one of them, and I ain't ashamed to say it. I'm one of them, but it is hard being a good man. Anything worthwhile never came easy. And so if you say that females' job, it's their job to shine it up and to do their best to look good to keep their man, what I say, bull shark. Because any man who would cheat on his wife has a moral problem and not a wife problem. Booyah.